Good afternoon, and welcome. I'm the Reverend Bonnie Lang, and on behalf of the Board of Directors and the Chi community, I welcome everyone here for this sacred moment. Passionate spiritual directors. They're not entering into ministry lightly. They are being called into a time of great urgency. When hospitals overflow, the planet groans, injustice festers, and many feel disconnected from hope. These leaders, formed with the Chaplaincy Institute, carry tools of present, 25 years, graduates walk into prisons and pulpits, boardrooms and bedside vigils, community rituals and personal reckonings. Our spiritual direction program is training wise companions to help others discern, grieve, grow, and find the sacred in their lives. Chi is not institutionally funded. Today, we invite you to join supporting our work. Every dollar that we receive helps light the way for the future chaplains, ministers, and spiritual directors. If you look at your program on the back, there is a QR code that will help with a donation. And so we do that either with a monthly donation or a one-time donation. Every dollar helps our beloved institution. Give because love calls us forward. Give because the world needs healing. Give because this sacred work must continue. Thank you now for your generosity.
Oh. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Before the ordinands walk in, I invite you all to consider giving to the Chaplaincy Institute because our work is really important, and this last line is really, I think, the most crucial. Give because love calls us forward. Give because the world needs healing. Give because this sacred work must continue. So for all of you that have the ability to donate, to give, we appreciate your generosity and for walking this path forward. Now let us welcome the ordinands for this year.
I'm sorry, it's a different moment in the program. The ordinands have asked me to read this poem that they wrote together. So be seated. It's Chi. This is how things go. I'm Carrie Kopnick, and I'm the community minister here. And so when the ordinands ask you to do something, you do it. They wrote this shared poem on their retreat, and it's titled The Path. Love and live on beauty. Dance as if spring is eternal. Dance the joy that belongs to you. Sing the song of your heart with your voice, with your body, your acts of love. Make your prayers a celebration of light and dark, for you are made of both. All that exists is contained within you. Breathe into the everythingness of your soul and know that what you seek is here already. Reach not outward, but deeper. See within and beyond. The stars await you. May you reflect their brilliance and joy, amplifying love and compassion. And at the altar, I will be above you, below you, surrounding you on all sides, bearing witness to the facets of you. We travel together, holding each other holy and in the holy. You, in all your beauty, in all your being, are never alone. and the path will not exist until you walk it, nor will it ever end.
My name is Gina Rose Halpern, and I'm the founder of the Chaplaincy Institute. It was a dream to recognize the need of our diverse communities and create a path for those who could provide care for those individuals who are not necessarily included in so many ways. And that dream is now 25 years old. I want to call forward, well, I did call forward Lauren Van Ham and Christine Morgan. These two women were in the very first class at Chi. And they have gone on to provide thousands of hours of care and service out in the world. I think, Christine, you're still working with the Red Cross.
I am. I'm retired hospice chaplain and volunteering in spiritual care for the Red Cross.
Many years now. No, you can stay up here. Can lean on you. Lauren was our first, well, she was ordained in our first group and reordained as our first eco-minister. And she's been serving our planet. Where are you? I forgot the United Religions. The United United Religions Initiative, working around the world. Lauren, we have a very special guest here today, and would you introduce her?
We are honored to have with us today eco-philosopher and teacher and co-mother of the work that reconnects, Joanna Macy. Thank you for being with us today.
You have been a gift to our community and to our world. Thank you so much. Okay. Can I pull this out? Sorry, I'm needing a little help at this point in my life. I'd like to offer a blessing to each and every one of you as I've gotten to know you, know where you're headed, and know where you come from. I bless you on this path that unfolds before you. In this moment, you are the greatest treasure of our future. Thank you so much for bringing your whole caring selves here today with us. Bless you all. And bless you out there in the wild, wild world.
Thank you, Gina Rose. We want to acknowledge that this ceremony takes place on Huichin land, the unceded ancestral territory of the Chochenyo-speaking Ohlone people, who have loved and protected these lands for generations. We encourage you to learn about their living culture and ongoing relationship with their land, and to make a donation to support them by going to their website for Sogorea Land Trust, which is linked in your program. Thank you.
My name is Jürgen Schwing. I'm core faculty at the Chaplaincy Institute. And it is a great honor to acknowledge a generous gift that we have received from Grace North Church. Grace North Church has been a partner, and they have given us hospitality for many, many years. Would the members and leaders of Grace North Church please stand? Please stay. I want to say a couple more words about your wonderful ministry and what your gift means to us. Grace North Church first started their ministry in 1892. Grace North served the Gourmet Ghetto, Berkeley, and the East Bay for over a century. We have been so blessed to be your partners for so many years. Grace North Church building in Berkeley used to be our home. If you were here in those days, Babcock Room, the Labyrinth Hall, these were our halls of teaching and learning and ministering. Grace North Church has been a church of radical welcome. At every service, the welcome was no matter who you are, where you come from, what you have done, who you love, what you believe or don't believe, no matter, you are welcome here. Grace North always was warmly welcoming everybody, especially the LGBT community and other minorities. I want to acknowledge the ministers of Grace North Church, at least those that I remember. Reverend Richard Mapleback-Palmer, Reverend Dr. John Mabry, who played an especially important role in creating this partnership as both the minister of Grace North and core faculty and director of the Chaplaincy Institute Spiritual Direction Program. We're so grateful. Reverend Kevin Omi, who was with us as Grace North came to their final days. Minister of Music, Lawson, and Minister Reverend Rick Reed, who also helped out and facilitated services. We are so grateful. Grace North Church, after this long and rich ministry when they needed to close their doors, had an intentional process of considering who to give a gift to from the remaining funds that they had. Grace North Church is a church that follows a congregational polity, so every decision was made intentionally and by consensus. There were other organizations who also received your generous gifts, and we are so grateful for the gift of $98,000 for the ministry of Grace North.
They funded it in the same way. And thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Jürgen. I am not here as the former pastor of Grace North Church right now, but as the director of the Spiritual Direction Program at the Chaplaincy Institute. Spiritual direction is a specialized ministry in which two people companion together to discover what the divine is up to in a person's life. And on the surface, it looks an awful lot like psychotherapy. Two people meet in an office, they talk for an hour, they make an appointment for next time. But that's where the similarity ends. Because while in therapy, the subject is the client's emotional life, in spiritual direction, the subject is the client's spiritual life. It's kind of like couples counseling, except that the couple is the client and the divine. Together, the spiritual director and the client explore the client's intimacy with the divine. What nurtures it? What gets in the way of it? How can we help that intimacy deepen, flourish, become juicy and life-giving? Spiritual direction requires special training. And our certificate graduates this year are exemplary. I am proud to have trained such a patient, sensitive, and skilled group of people. I would recommend each of them as a spiritual director to you with a whole heart. As a school, it is our privilege to give these certificates of completion to such an accomplished group of students. Now, normally I would say, would the graduates please come forward? But unfortunately, all of our graduates are virtual. And we are glad that they are here with us. Now, normally, I would have a ukulele and I would teach you a song right now, but instead, one of our core faculty members, Lauren Danham, is going to come up and she's going to teach you the song. And we're going to sing this song to each one of these as a blessing. Lauren.
I am not the only one who knows this song. So sing with me. It goes like this. Go forth, we've got holy work to do. Go forth, may our prayers carry you. You've got it.
All right. So, we are very happy to bestow our certificate of completion upon our spiritual directors. So upon Li Zhang.
Go forth, we've got holy work to do. Go forth, may our prayers carry you.
And we celebrate the Reverend Angie Arndt.
Go forth, we've got holy work to do. Go forth, may our prayers carry you.
And we celebrate the Reverend Nicholas Bartoli.
Go forth, we've got holy work to do. Go forth, may our prayers carry you.
And finally, we celebrate the Reverend Lisa Steele Maley.
Go forth, we've got holy work to do. Go forth, may our prayers carry you.
Thank you, Lauren. Why don't you stay here and help me bless? All right. Let us say a prayer of blessing for our graduates. May what is holy go before you to guide you and prepare your way. May what is holy go behind you. May it support you and have your back. May what is holy go beside you to companion you and love you. And may what is holy bless you so that you might be a blessing to others. May it be so.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. What a blessing this time is to be together. What a sacred threshold. Today, these beloved people will take their place in the lineage of spiritual leaders here at the interfaith, here at the Chi Interfaith community and beyond. Now, beloved community, I invite you to get yourselves centered. Now, beloved community, I invite you to get yourselves centered. These 11 people are going to share their homilies, or what might be better called an expression of their soul with us. Next, they will receive their expression of their soul, Next, they will receive their stole and charge or invitation. Dear friends, you are about to have a sacred invitation to your ministry, offered by someone who has been important to you on this journey. This person or these people know you, and they will call you to your best self and to the core of your ministry. Before you receive your charge, a beloved one or ones dear to you will place a stole over your shoulders, and then we will hear from you. When you answered the call to ministry, you said yes to speaking your truth, speaking the truth, to finding your authentic voice. In the words of Reverend Shirley Strong, the stole is an outward symbol of this decision you make to make yourself available. to answer the call, to say yes to Spirit and to the universe, to say, here I am, I'll go, send me. At Chi and in interfaith ministry in general, we are making the path as we walk it. Our stoles have the symbols of many faith traditions, and a hand with the labyrinth in the center, a representation of a beautiful painting by our beloved founder. The hand is a call to service, a statement on serving the world using spiritual tools. The stole is not a status symbol that separates us from others, but is instead an outward reminder of your call. Let us begin the ritual of homilies, bestowing of stoles, and the giving of the charge.
Hello. My soulmate, Fletch, survived a near-death experience in the middle of Chaplain Perry Pike's prayer class last spring. People, including many from that class, were there with us through that. My words from that class, the whole thing is a prayer, learned from a native elder during tribal canoe journey, became an incarnation. Everything is prayer. Your being with is a prayer. There is an old Flemish word, herbronen, I learned from my Belgian Open Dialogue colleague, Dag. It means going back to the well or to the source. The nuance is that within that word, it is also asking for what, for whom, and with whom do we go back to the well? Herbronen, with whom, for whom, and do we keep on going back to the well with? What values do you walk with? What opportunities are emerging beside you? And with whom do you share and seek truth with? Not knowing or uncertainty can be our guide. Can I teach you all a song? Goes like this. How do I know? How do you know? How do we know? How do we know?
Now you can put the stole.
The source of moonlight is not the moon. The source of moonlight is not the moon. Be like the moon with your ministry, Alita, allowing illumination to flow through you from the sunlight of all your most beloved and inspiring teachers, Pirko Philman, Myrtle Fillmore, the Sisters of the Immaculate Heart, Ram Dass, John O'Donohue, Ocean Bouillon, Jimi Hendrix, Logan Griffin, your own beloved Fletch, and the many unnamed beloveds who grace your life. Boldly be with those to whom you are called, knowing that you are embraced by many unimpeded loves, the light of all your loves, the light of the great love. These lights shatter the darkness of human ignorance and suffering. So, beloved, you may relax. Breathe gently. An unwavering light shines through you. Entrusted Alita Catherine Taylor, will you simply love and serve, sharing the light, allowing your life to be worthy of your breath? This is your whole and holy charge.
Hi. Whew, I can feel my heart beating in my whole body, so I'm going to take that as a good sign. Episcopal priest and author Barbara Brown Taylor writes that most preachers rely on language to pin down the flapping edges of the universe. In my own spiritual care work, it often feels like this. Using words and the spaces in between them, because listening is its own kind of language, to help anchor someone else's unmoored edges. I realized quickly that to do so required a kind of superpower, like real Marvel Universe type stuff, to hold the bigness of the beautiful unseen in a way that comforts rather than overwhelms. To believe when someone else can't, that we can be intimate with the infinite. During my work as a hospital chaplain, there was an elderly man who'd had a heart attack at a conference far from home. He was stable enough to move to a rehab, but they were all full, and there was no one to take him in. The flapping in his world was deafening. I got some side-eye on my first visit from him. He waited for me to start poking and prodding at him, but we just talked, kind of awkwardly at first, and then with more ease about addiction and recovery, faith, family, and forgiveness. I saw him several times over the next few weeks before a rehab was found for him. And on one of these last visits, he said, "I'm so tired of being looked at. Thank you for seeing me." It felt like a benediction, so I'm offering it to you now. In all of my strength and struggle, in my bigness and smallness and flapping edges as I prepare to take this vow, thank you for seeing me.
Beloved Julia Johnson, to live into the sacred path, to share, to accompany, to tend to individuals who come to you in need of spiritual care, of being seen, respecting the faith's traditions, sacredness, wisdom, and integrity of all those hearts and spirits that you will serve. I charge you to deepen into your own practices and tradition, and to seek continuous contact and nourishment from Source, from the divine, and from the gifts that live deep within your own soul, your precious and beautiful soul. Remember to tend your own health and well-being, to your mind, your body, your spirit, so that you can continue to serve others from a loving heart and a full cup. May you embrace and know yourself to be cared for by Spirit as you care for others. Creator, divine Creator, beloved unseen, we give thanks and pray that you endow abundant guidance, clarity, blessings, resilience, understanding, and great courage of the heart upon Julia as she commits to her journey. May she continue to be a beacon of love, light, and joy in the world, and may the reverberations of her own heart and service be felt throughout all the generations past and those yet to come. And so it is.
I call this painting The Seed. I spontaneously created this several years ago, and it has recently taken on a deeper meaning. For me, ministry feels like a seed that was planted within me long ago, and it has been waiting for just the right time and the right conditions to push through the soil. It's a late bloomer. The setting here is dark and quiet, yet full of potential. Much like the times in my life when I have felt lost and searching for answers. I can see how this seed has been unfurling and revealing itself to me through life lessons and mystical experiences. Sometimes soft and subtle, sometimes abrupt and dramatic. In all its forms, this seed has been with me all along. I'm learning to surrender to its path a little bit more each day, and that is not an easy task. Even as I approach this sacred threshold of ministry today, I still have so many questions. Even though I don't know exactly what type of seed this is, the seed knows. Just as the acorn contains all of the information it needs to become a wise oak tree, I trust that this ancient seed knows exactly what to do.
Crystal, during your journey through Chi, I've witnessed your brilliant, multifaceted spirit unfold, transform, and break through both resistance and change. This is my charge, my invitation to you as you cross this threshold. As above, so below. I invite you to practice grounded mysticism. Embrace your sacred intuition as you weave synchronicities from the universe into meaning for yourself and others. Whether those messages come through shamanic journeys, dreams, or sitting bedside with precious beings at their most vulnerable moments. I invite you to harness, but not diminish, the fiery passion stoking your inner dragon, and to channel the joyful light radiating from your inner hummingbird. Balance and harmonize these two wise spirit guides in service to others. I invite you to honor your vulnerability as a strength, to show up raw and imperfect in your holy presence, to empower your divine feminine self, both fierce and gentle, stepping into spiritual leadership with authenticity, and especially when offering blessings, the power of 1,000 women, to those in need. I invite you to listen deeply to your ancestors when they drop in through song,
or walk with you in the dream time. Perhaps your grandfather's watching over you right now, whispering, "You got this, Crystal. Go with the Spirit." Trust yourself fully as you begin yet another pilgrimage toward infinite possibilities.
Reaching this threshold was a long and winding path, filled with many other thresholds and communities that walked with me, sat with me, pushed me, sang with me, cried with me, and most of all, laughed with me. And when I was invited to offer my voice during our ordination ceremony, my only thought was Kevin Malone's voice saying, "Why say lot word when few do trick?" So my few are, I am full of gratitude. But I also found a poem that I wrote of gratitude in 2021 when I had just begun my Chi journey, and I want to offer it as a prayer and blessing today. With gratitude for all the relationships too often forgotten, too easily ignored, for the time to remember the good that comes from effort. With gratitude for small gestures and thoughtful acts, for people who truly seek to see me as me. With gratitude for those who reach out when least expected and create positive impact they'll never know the extent of. With gratitude for Spirit who remains ever present, ever kind, reaching for connection before I take the leap. On this day, may I be grounded in gratitude so that I can reflect the beauty I encounter and amplify the divine compassion and joy that connects us all. May it be so.
Cassie, I am full of joy to be with you today, to be among this wacky, fun, smiling cloud of witnesses that somehow by our Creator's design are together at the threshold of your ordination. You have made your way across many thresholds to be here, places where you knew you were saying goodbye in order to say hello to new possibilities. A few of these thresholds you chose, and many came to you as an unexpected guest. You took a deep breath and with courage and grace crossed over to a new beginning. My charge for you today is to rest. Poet David Wyatt writes, "Rest is the conversation between what we love to do and how we love to be." May you always be in this conversation. What you love to do, to create space for the other, for the child and those who love them. To hold your place in the circle for the other to feel safe and nurtured by your steadfastness and grace. How you love to be. Playful, creative, irreverent, bold, tender, and at times vulnerable, sassy Cassie. I charge you to continue to be a holy listening stone, so that those in your care see themselves in you, are heard by you, and know they are loved.
It turns out that I write my very best homilies in the space between sleeping and waking. And then wouldn't you know that as soon as I get out of bed, I can't remember a single word of that wonderful homily. So while there have been many versions of this 2-minute talk covering a whole range of topics, this is the one I was able to write while fully awake. The journey at Chi has been about strengthening my capacity to be present with the suffering and the joy in this world, and about honoring my deepest longing. What happens beyond today, I do not know, but I trust the process. I am so very grateful for all the time I got to spend learning, reflecting, and growing in this experience. And as of today, I get to officially live into a role that feels like my true self. For my 16th birthday, my beloved surrogate grandmother, Nancy, gave me this journal. She was a woman deeply devoted to her faith and to her family. In it, she had written her favorite scriptures, poems, and quotes, and invited me to do the same throughout my life. 2 quotes that I wrote in this book many years ago have felt like touchstones to my calling in this work. The first is by Rachel Naomi Remen. We serve life not because it is broken, but because it is holy. The second, Oscar Wilde. Where there is sorrow, there is holy ground. Friends, I am honored to be taking a vow today to serve the sacred and holy, to hold space for sorrow, to celebrate joy, and to offer love, compassion, and presence. May it be so.
Jessica, it has been an honor to witness the profound grace and vulnerability with which you've carried yourself through your time at Chi. This is my charge, my invitation to you as you venture forth across this threshold. I invite you to pause, take a deep breath, and rejoice in your journey thus far. Take time to relish the new embodiment of your holy self. It will feel different, even if you don't look different. I invite you to continue creating your own unique container for spiritual practices and rituals that salve your sensitive heart and soul, and to continue exploring possibilities for your ministry, from being of service to youth or to end-of-life spiritual care, and everything in between. I invite you to contemplate all the myriad ways in every day that you are already in a deep, meaningful relationship with divine energy. To consider that the beauty, awe, and humility that you experience in nature is a divine reflection of what you carry in your own heart. I invite you to continue leaning into the longing, loving, the deeper connection that you desire with your true divine self, and to find strength, purpose, and joy in that relationship. Celebrate your inherent worthiness, your enoughness, and that you are, in fact, divine energy, divine love. In the words of John O'Donohue, awaken to the mystery of being here and enter the quiet immensity of your own presence.
Once, in a dream, I flew to the top of a giant tree. I was following someone, a birdman covered in feathers. He wanted me to follow him. A sunlit boardwalk stretched from treetop to treetop across a vast forest, and I ran along it the way he had gone. As I neared the end, I glimpsed him jumping into a hole among the leaves, through which I could see the sky of another world. I knew that I was meant to jump in after him, but I didn't. I hesitated, and the dream ended. At the edge of that opening, I wasn't afraid of something terrible on the other side. I was afraid of being the kind of fool who believes in something too good to be true. But what I have come to realize is that it isn't foolish to hope for or believe in magnificent realities. It is an act of courage. I believe in a divine current that longs to carry us to the center. But first, we must trust it enough to jump in. We have to agree to be carried through the layers of this mystery, deeper and deeper toward a more beautiful world. Today, I am agreeing to be carried. Not the easy way, but the way of hope. May we stand shoulder to shoulder at the edge in courageous, extravagant hope and jump in together. May the current carry us into what we most hope for, and may it carry us far beyond what we think is the end, through the wonder-filled forests of what we haven't yet dared to imagine. I'll see you there.
Kate, beloved wife, mother, Kiki, and guide, as you stand before this gathering today, I charge you to enter into the full expression of your sacred calling that began years ago in your work with our youngest souls. Remember that each time you meet a child on their level, you demonstrate divine presence. Each wonder-filled moment you create is a sanctuary built with invisible hands. Your commitment, I paid him for that. Your commitment to change the world as much as possible before bedtime contains important wisdom. That transformation happens in small steps, that our time here is precious, and that rest must follow sacred labor. When self-doubt creeps in, recall that hope is not merely an emotion, but a spiritual practice. That playfulness is not frivolity, but divine expression. These are necessary elements of connection with the sacred. Trust also in your visions and glimpses of deity, for they illuminate your unique path of service. The universes need your biggest self, the one that dreams without constraint and loves without reservation. When you encounter setbacks or feel at risk of becoming small, return to the wisdom of children. You can be as big as you declare yourself to be. May you ever continue to walk between worlds, bringing light where it's needed most.
All my life, I've wanted to be able to wear two pieces of symbolic clothing. The Smokey the Bear hat of a national park ranger, and the stole announcing a commitment to engaging the world spiritually. One thing those two vocations share is a kind of advocacy of remembering. They remind us that we are more than the isolated individual that modern capitalism needs us to believe we are. They remind us of our inseparable belonging to the community of beings with whom we share our planet, and to the 13-billion-year-old interdependent, unfolding everything that holds us. Instead of a hat or stole, I put on the suit of a lawyer and spent over 35 years as an advocate for human and environmental rights. That work showed me that the crisis we face today, from climate change to scapegoating and abusing immigrants to a politics that robs from the poor to give to the rich, are in part crises of forgetting. Forgetting that in every moment, this exquisite universe offers us beauty and goodness. From fresh water to the purple lupin in the High Sierra to the duck-billed platypus. Forgetting that we are inextricably connected to one another and the planet. Forgetting that what we do unto another, we literally do to ourselves. I have learned from my beloved teacher, Joanna Macy, that facing the challenges before us will be nearly impossible if we are not rooted in practices that remind us that life is sacred and that encourage joyful community with our fellow beings. So the stole I put on today is a commitment to myself and to you, to a new advocacy, an advocacy of remembering, of bringing myself and others back into the knowledge of our belonging to and our interdependence with this entire glorious everything. We'll all have to just imagine the hat.
Martin, as we mark these moments of sacred ritual in honor of your ordination, we can't but recognize your profound connectedness to a far-reaching loving kindness which encompasses your unflagging love for our world with an enduring courage that telegraphs from your very soul. You embody honesty, integrity, care, and an unyielding forthrightness. Our knowing and invocation is that you shall powerfully inhabit the sacred designation of pan-spiritual chaplain and interdependence advocate without a shred of doubt of your enoughness, because indeed we know you are enough and so much more. Continue to embody this with the humility and divine consciousness of this sacred service.
Martin, you create safety for others to dive deeply within ourselves, to really face and transform our challenges in our life, challenges in the world, and to do that with love and power. And today we want to recognize your commitment to continue to grow in your capacity to take part in loving and healing the world, to help to reconcile moral injury, and to continue to hold that paradox of longing and belonging, of grief and celebration in a way that only you can do, with ritual, with dance, with poetry, And again, to know without a shred of doubt that your presence is the gift and that you are intimately connected in life and with all of us.
I want to share my first experience that I believe put me on the trajectory that led me here today. I was about 30 years old, and it was a time of a confusing heartbreak for me. I was hiking alone in a forest, and I found a fortune cookie paper on the trail that said, "You are welcome at any party." Minutes later, I walked into a small clearing with the hatching of thousands and thousands of tiny flying insects. The hatching lasted about 2 to 3 minutes, while a shaft of sun lit them up as they all flew away. And in awe, I recognized that hatching as at the party I was welcome to. And I knew that I had had a mystical experience, my first. This led me to understand the first spiritual truth that I was given that turned my understanding of myself and my world on its head. I went from thinking that I was a human being who had this isolated spiritual experience to knowing that I was 100% a spiritual being who happened to be having, for a brief time, a human experience as Missy. I began praying for the first time, and I made a commitment to God that I would do the work in this lifetime to meet my spiritual potential, whatever that was. And to be honest, I didn't even know what I meant by that at the time I said it. For me, interfaith ministry means showing up where people are and being faithful to their humanity and their divinity in equal measure. So I gratefully received this ordination, both as something that I earned, as well as a calling, having said yes to my soul's deep longing to move ever closer to God. And thank you to the loving and fierce and wise Chi community for bringing me into your fold.
While on your spiritual journey of formation and transformation, you allowed me to be a member of your wisdom circle. Thank you. It was and it will continue to be my honor to be of service to you. Melissa and McRhodes, with deliberate discernment, you have chosen to be addressed as Reverend and a spirituality advocate. Yes? I invite you to place your hands on your belly and allow your entire body to breathe in these words. As a spirituality advocate, I charge you to remember that God called you to ministry. Chaplaincy is your formal answer to that call. It does not matter that you took the long, winding, and sometimes challenging route to get to this day. You have arrived. God was not timing you. Please remember who called you. Remember. I charge you to accept that you are the hands and feet of Jesus. You're called to a ministry of purpose and meaning, a ministry that will support those who are searching for acceptance, to find a measure of wholeness and peace. When you find yourself leaning into the theologies of capitalism and imperialism, resist, resist, resist. Please accept yourself as an instrument of the divine. Acceptance. I charge you to believe in you and to deeply believe that God has always loved you. From a place of holy love, you can model for others the importance of believing that they too are worthy of God's love. And doubts are welcomed. Using your words, I get to be who God says I am. Hallelujah, yes. Christian sacred text says that you were magnificently made. My experience of you says that this is not fake news. It is just one truth. Please believe. Finally, in stable times and amidst storms that surely will come, I charge you to hold fast to your spiritual practices. Cherish them. Allow each practice to root down, 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 like a baby's voice, down to do its magic. And please share your magic with others. Your practices are one way that God speaks to you. Please practice, practice, practice. Not to be perfect, to be grounded. Ashe, and blessed be.
It is good to be here today. It is good to be here with you and you and you. And to be here in this community that I love so much. I am so happy to be walking through this threshold here. Love anyway. We are called to love. I am called to love. This journey to ordination is my response to that call. I love a lot in life. I love limon potato chips. I love an evening of knitting, watching the Warriors. I love, love, love my family and my friends. I love the complexity I see in others. And these things are not equal. We all know that. It is the call to love anyway, to love others, and that's what builds my theology. That love requires me to welcome in the unknown, to expand myself, my understanding, and to make space for others. To love is to welcome, to recognize the inherent worthiness of all beings. And these days, that's a lot harder than I want it to be. That does not mean that I like it all. It doesn't mean that I tolerate all. It doesn't mean that I even make tea for all. But it means I make space. I love anyway. And sometimes that is very hard. I make space for the messiness of being human, for the foibles, for the beauty, for it all. I make space to acknowledge the worthiness in all, regardless. This threshold, this process of being ordained in this particular time feels like an act of hope, an act of deep love. Look at these beautiful people I get to go through this with. Oof. We are all full of hope of changing our world, of seeing others in their messy humanness, of loving anyway. Any way we can, any way that is needed. Love anyway.
Beloved Susie, at the end of this ritual, you will have a new title and thus a new name. After your decades-long dance of approach, resistance, return, reluctance, and finally this full-hearted embracing of your call, you are crossing this threshold into new territory. Today you leave here with your new identity as an ordained minister. So I have 3 charges for you. First, I invite you to continue to expand emotionally. Yes, nurture your fabulous sense of humor, your enormous capacity for love, and your wryness about us silly humans. And open even more space for experiencing moments like these that are serious and life-changing and transcendent. Continue to grow your heart. 2, on those inevitable days when you do not like ministering anymore and you're not even sure if you really like people, give yourself grace. Fling some paint on a canvas, take the dog for a walk, read a book, call a friend, take a break. You'll still have this call. You will still love anyway. Give yourself grace. And 3, finally, I invite you to know to the bottom of your heart that you are enough. You are many, many things, dear one. Artist, spiritual director, mother, family member, creator of fun, chaplain, friend, and so much more. At root, you are simply Susie. And that is already enough. Trust this truth. I love you. I am thrilled to be part of welcoming you into this companionship of ministry.
I think we're good to go. We'll go anyway, because my friends are here. A nursery rhyme from childhood. Monday's child is fair of face. Tuesday's child is full of grace. Wednesday's child is full of woe. Thursday's child has far to go. Friday's child is loving and giving. Saturday's child works hard for a living. But the child that is born on Sabbath day is bonny and blithe and good and gay. I was born on a Thursday in 1965. I felt my first sense of call when I was 14. That same year, I met a foreign visiting bishop. I was introduced to him and we chatted, and he told me, follow your sense of call. It will lead you to great things. You're doing what you're meant to do. Years later, I was at a small church in New York City, and I again felt an urgent sense of call. The vicars recognized this sense of call and set me my first task. Speak with a guru in upstate New York. I made the trip. I received Shaktipat, which is a spiritual awakening from the guru. I had never met her before, but she said, always remember what you feel right now. Do what you think is right. Several years after that, more like a decade, I went to an ELCA Lutheran seminary in Chicago. And 6 months before I was due to graduate, I was told that I wouldn't be ordained because I was a practicing lesbian. I went on to get my Master of Arts in Theology and have a lovely family with my wife. 2 years ago, I had a conversation with Katrina, which led me to this moment. I have had holy people step into my path and guide me onwards in my vocation. The visiting bishop was the late Archbishop Desmond Tutu. Guru Mai Chittalasananda granted me Shaktipat, and we all know the spirit of Katrina. I have had many wonderful people in my path to keep pushing me onwards. So I would say yes, indeed, I am answering my call. Where it will lead, I do not know, but this Thursday's child has far to go. No, other way around.
Dearest Elizabeth, your journey to this day was longer than you'd hoped, but I believe a guiding universal energy has been with you every step of the way, leading you right here. Now, I invite you to be bold and bring your compassion and care to those in need of spiritual support, using your wonderful ability to listen and empathize, your secret superpower. I invite you to step into your unique role within the interconnected world and share your wisdom to empower others to live their best lives as creatures of the universe. I invite you to believe in the power of your own voice. Trust that your heartfelt words, inspired by the mystic creator, hold the very truth the world is waiting to hear, capable of transforming hearts and minds in profound ways. When life feels overwhelming, remember the strength of your beloved community. Don't hesitate to reach out for support that you deserve. As we've seen this week, they're truly here for you. Remember to nurture yourself and the gifts of music, with the gifts of music and nature's wonders. And finally, I encourage you to embrace your journey and continue confidently forward. You have so much to offer. Amen, and may it be so.
Good afternoon. I have many identities, but I've always leaned into the ones that set me apart. In high school, I hung out with theater kids, but at theater camp, I hung out with skater punks. Among Christians, I'm a Jew. Among Jews, an atheist. Among atheists, a mystic. And here, among mystics, I'm a scientist. I've come to recognize this as a choice. I've defined myself by what I'm not. No, I'm not that kind of theater kid. I'm not that kind of Jew. I won't be that kind of clergy. Almost instinctively, I declare myself an outsider. The Sufi master Inayat Khan talks about universal kinship in adaptability. He says that among Christians, the Sufi is a Christian. Among Jews, a Jew. Among Muslims, a Muslim. Among Hindus, a Hindu. When asked, are you a Christian? Are you a Muslim? Are you a Jew? The Sufi's answer would be yes. While I gravitate to outsiders, I have always been welcome among insiders too. I see myself in the suffering of the powerless, but I also see myself in the failings of the powerful. I have the immense privilege to be welcome in so many spaces. I recognize the privilege of that mobility, privilege which means I can open doors, and not only for myself. Because the truth is, at theater camp, I wasn't just friends with the skaters, I was also friends with the theater kids, which meant that the two groups had a mutual friend. My call is not to be insider or outsider, but to tear down barriers between the two. My call is to be a bridge over a raging river, a breach in a border wall, a friend who expands the circle. We face so many collective challenges, and they will not be solved by presidents or kings or CEOs. The solutions will not serve shareholder profit, nor any hierarchy or doctrine. To survive, we must embrace true community, making space for each and every one of us. My call is to foster the spirit of universal kinship, to expand the circle. An open heart is a mighty tool for liberation. The scientist in me knows that the power of an open heart cannot be quantified, but the mystic in me knows that even still, it is magic.
Satushka. It has been an honor to witness you walk your empirical and mystical pathways through Chi while birthing your online ministry, The Good World. My charge to you is to enjoy each step, whichever path you are on in the moment. Keep showing us how to be practitioners of faith and love, as well as ministers and messengers to create the good world. Stay innovative, playful, and out of any box that anybody might want to put you in, like Jubu Suhu? I charge you to keep asking the questions that don't have obvious answers, to consider the pathway of teaching as well as preaching. Perhaps some of your podcast episodes could be fodder for a course at Chi. I charge you to keep pushing your growing edge of imposter syndrome, until the mirror reveals gratitude and self-love for your humble-hearted authority. I charge you to keep speaking truth, beauty, and goodness with your curiosity, humility, and humor. The not-so-good world needs that right now. And I charge you to preach more of this. This world is bottomlessly full of wonders in every direction. Everyone around us contains an entire universe in themselves. We are all members of the same human family. We are all blood of a divine body. All of us are connected. All of us belong. Those are your words, my friend. Preach it, brother. Dear ones, this is the point when you promise to live your life from this moment forward by these vows. You are saying, this is who I am, and this is what I promise. I know you to be ready and worthy to take these vows. Now, those of us ordained by Chi can also renew our vows as our ordinands take theirs. I will ask a litany of questions, and if you are ready, your answer is, I will. Will you nurture your relationship with the divine and all its manifestations? Will you honor the diversity and unity of all beings, cultures, and traditions?
Will you inspire interfaith awareness, cooperation, and connection? Will you continue to nourish yourself in body, heart, mind, and spirit? Will you commit to serve peace, justice, and sustainability in the world? Will you uphold the values of the Chi community, representing us responsibly and with dignity? Will you abide by the Chi community's code of ethical conduct and always serve others with compassion and respect? Will you lovingly challenge this community to be the best version of itself and to live up to the things we say we believe? Will you allow yourself to be changed, shaped, and transformed by this community? Now, beloved community, it's your turn. Whoops. We're on a hill here. I invite you to take a moment to look at the order of service for today's responses. They are printed on the back. Or if you're online with us on YouTube, they're in your digital program on page 6. Is it your wish that we ordain these your friends as interfaith ministers? It is. Let us ordain them and bless them for ministry. Will you support them and encourage them in their work? We promise our love, support, and care. Will you lovingly challenge these new ministers to be the best versions of themselves and to help them live up to the things they say they believe? We will. Will you promise to allow yourself to be changed, shaped, and transformed by them? We will.
We've come to the point in our service where we will do the anointing, the blessing, and the laying on of hands. So although you will not be able to hear, because these are very intimate and private moments for the ordinands, please bless them, send them good vibrations, your prayers, your heart, as this part of the service continues. We're going to begin with our two friends online. So I'm going to begin.
Dear Chi Interfaith community, who are gathered here today in this room with our ordinance, as well as across the ethers with our friends abroad. We now come to the part of the ordination that together with the church and the anointing completes the act through the laying of the hands by the community. The way we understand ordination at the Chaplaincy Institute has a component of history and a component of mystery. First, the history. Throughout the ages, spiritual communities have called out among themselves and ordained spiritual leaders to serve the community and the world. This journey towards ordination usually starts when a person first feels a call. And the act of ordination is the confirmation of your call by us, the community. It sends out the individual to serve the world. Traditionally, this call was experienced as rooted in a particular religion or tradition. If you were called by the God of the Trinity, you'd be ordained in the Christian church. If you were called by Adonai of the Jewish people, of the Israel, of those wrestling with God, you'd be ordained a rabbi. Maybe you'd be ordained a Buddhist priest or monk or nun, or whatever your tradition is. But what, Gina Rose asked 25 years ago, if your call is outside the box? What if your call is very subtle and arising more mysteriously? What if your call is by a non-traditional experience of the divine? What if this call is by something greater than yourself, but you're not quite sure what it is? What if your call is a tug of love with a capital L, to serve a particular community, or to serve our animal siblings, or to serve Mother Earth? What if your call arises from the archetypal depth of the psyche? What if your call feels like an invitation from the divine that is greater than can be contained in just one religion? Well, that's why we are here today. The Chaplaincy Institute exists to help you clarify your call. Our classes and process of spiritual direction help you sift what is authentic from what is ego. It helps you clarify what shape your ministry will take in the world. Ordination is the act by us, the community, of recognizing your call and to send you out as leaders and servants in the world. Our ordinance, our siblings standing up here, have gone through a rigorous process of preparation, learning, and assessment. They have studied the world religions, developed self-awareness, explored the role of spirit in social transformation, and presented their written theologies. They were examined by a Chi community in a process we call competency assessment, and we have found all of you to have an authentic call and to be properly prepared. Today, we recognize the call of our siblings here today and entrust them with the authority to be spiritual leaders and servants among us. There's also a mystical and spiritual component. Through the laying out of hands, we provide a spiritual empowerment. In addition to expressing our trust in them, we call on the divine spirit, which we know by many names, in the silence of no name at all. We call on that divine to bless them, to empower them, and to guide them. As a community gathered today, both in person and virtually, we will transmit a spiritual blessing to them that we recognize as completing the act of ordination. Ordinance, will you please gather in a circle? As we prepare laying on of hands in a certain order, and I ask our founder and friend Gina Rose Halpern to come up first. And as I call all of you up eventually, I ask you to send your blessings, your empowerment to our friends gathered here being ordained, in the room and across the world where you are. Next, I ask all ordained ministers and spiritual leaders of whatever tradition or path to please come forward and lay on hands. And finally, I ask all family and friends, everyone else gathered here today, in this room with us or across Zoom, to please come and lay on hands. You may send them into the camera, and we will receive them here, and we will send them to you as well. Wow, so many hands and so much blessing and so much love in this room. Join me in this prayer. Beloved, Holy Spirit, divine whom we know by many names in the silence of no name at all, please bless these ordinances today. Let them know that the whole thing going forward is going to be prayer. Help them to go back to the well, to be nurtured by what has first called them as they prepare to be of service in the world. Pin their flapping edges. Help them to be seen as your servants, and help them to see those who are suffering and need to be seen and loved. Holy One, each of these ordinances has a seed that has been growing inside of them, of your love and your wisdom and your care. This seed knows who they are to become and what they are to do. Let them trust the seed inside of them. They are standing at the threshold. Spirit ever present, ever kind. Help them to feel connected to themselves, to each other, to the world, and those whom they serve. Holy One, as they write the sermons that they will preach, either through words or through silence or through acts, whether the source is dreams that they barely remember, or ideas and behaviors in the waking world, help them to be your voice, your hands, your heart in the world. May they know that they are welcome at any party. Help them to be present to the hatching that needs to happen in our community and in our world. Loving God, when it is really, really hard to love, help them to love anyway. Help them to expand themselves, to make space for others, and to bring witness of universal love and compassion. Dear beloveds, follow your call, even if you get rejected, at points in your life and in your call. But you have come here, and today we recognize and accept your call to ordination. We ask you to tear down barriers between insiders and outsiders and to be a bridge. Loving God, help these ordinands to be advocates for the remembering that we need. As our Mother Earth is suffering, the climate is changing. We rob from the poor and give to the rich. We see a takeover of autocratic leadership that values those on the top and violates those on the margins. We need these ordinances to speak up, to act with love and justice. Give them the power and the love to do that. Ordinance, root yourself in the practices that you remind you that life is sacred and that you belong to community, certain to this community that is loving you now. When a bird man or bird woman or other sacred prophet, animal, spirit guide, mystic or leader calls you and leads you to jump into a hole, please jump. We will see you on the other side, and you are entering the other side now of being and becoming ordained ministers and leaders. And with this, we have duly ordained you. Amen.
Well, there we go. And here it is. And so it is. And so it is. It is my honor to introduce the newly ordained clergy. I introduce to you my colleagues, Reverend Alita Taylor, multi-faith minister, spiritual guide, and interfaith practitioner. Reverend Elizabeth Lee, interfaith minister. Reverend Julia Aitchison Johnson, interfaith minister and chaplain. Reverend Crystal Blue, interspiritual minister and chaplain. Reverend Cassidy Wolfarth, interfaith chaplain. Reverend Jessica Demick, interfaith chaplain and community minister. Reverend Caitlin Wheeler, interspiritual minister. Reverend Martin Wagner, pan-spiritual chaplain and interdependence advocate. Reverend Missy McRhodes, spirituality advocate. Reverend Susie Idzik, Reverend Susie Idzik, community chaplain and spiritual director. Reverend Brother Seth Samuels, inter-spiritual leader, connector, and friend.
Let's take a collective breath. Loved by the force that weaves space and time, guided by the wisdom of our benevolent ancestors, transformed by the divinity that turns caterpillars into butterflies, held by the resilient web of life beneath our feet and throughout the cosmos, rooted and rising. May we go forward now, ready for good trouble, generous and authentic in our offerings of care, love, and peace. Go well, friends. Amen, and so it is.